I am very excited for Heretic, but also maybe not, because I have no idea what kind of story it's going to be. The premise is pretty straightforward. Two Mormon missionaries go into the house of a man played by Hugh Grant, and at first he seems friendly, but then he turns out to maybe be a little sinister. And then he traps them in a game, or maybe a series of games that they have to get out of in order to survive. But that's about all I know. I've watched the trailers, but the trailers don't really give more clue than that. I don't even know how violent it is or how destructive it is. It's rated R for some violence, so there will be something at some point, but it doesn't really seem like a kind of torture porn movie about, oh, look how scary and violent these things are happening to these people. It's a film built around the idea of Hugh Grant, who's historically been this charming, friendly, befuddled Englishman, being instead of more villainous roles he's been doing recently, and being domineering and being intimidating while still maintaining his kind of estuary English accent and demeanor. I'm seeing it for three reasons. One, it looks good. It just looks fascinating and compelling and mysterious. And it's getting very good marketing hype and recommendations from people who have seen it. Two, one of my film professors, my producing professor, Down Serva, recommended it because a friend of his and his wife both worked on it, and I believe he said wrote it. So it's local work. It's work in proximity to where I live and who I'm working with. So I just want to go see it out of support. And I think Down's recommendation is very good, so I'm really excited to see it for that reason. But the third reason I'm excited to see it is because it seems like it's a story about someone interrogating Mormon people, and quite probably about their Mormonism. And that is, for me, a very fraught topic. I haven't shared this with everyone I talk to online, but I've shared it to everyone I talk to in person. I grew up Mormon, and I was very devout, and happy to be devout, but also not like a loser, so far as I know. But when I was about 25, I ended up, after a long process of, things gradually building up, I decided that maybe the church wasn't true. Maybe the Mormon church was not as authentic as it claims to be. And in many ways, this was a joyful thing because it's like, it kind of answered a lot of questions you might have about life, and it kind of informed a lot of other thoughts. If you really believe in your religion, but then you decide it's not true, it gets you thinking about, what about all the other religions? What about life? What about death? What about life's purpose? And that can be a scary rabbit hole to go down, but also I think I went down it, and it came out with some good conclusions that made me feel happier about it. In ways, it was a joyful transition, and I'm happier about it. I was even hesitant about studying film, because Mormonism told me that violent movies or movies about adult subjects are bad. Now that I'm not Mormon anymore, I'm like, it's cool. But on the other hand, in ways it was not a fun transition, because looking back on what I was doing with my life up to that time, I think I spent a large part of my life training to be Mormon and be good at being Mormon. And it hurts to realize that what you're training towards for a lot of your life is maybe not as relevant to your life as you thought it would be. And you have to transition thinking about how to apply those skills to other areas, which I think I've done a ton, actually, in a way that makes me happier. But I find it hard to talk about because I live in Utah, in the center of Utah, in Mormon Central. And a lot of Utah is not Mormon, but also a lot of Utah in a few of the spaces I go into is very Mormon. And a lot of random Mormons are really very nice. But it's not really a space where I feel like I can be open about how I feel, or be open about this process I've gone through. Mormons, I think, of all shades who are actually invested in being Mormon, and missionaries are amongst those, typically, don't like being interrogated about the strength of their beliefs. Not seriously, not well, because it's the sunk cost fallacy. A lot of Catholics might be open to being probed about their Catholicism, but a lot of Catholics aren't as serious about being Catholic as Mormons are. Mormons who are in it more than Catholics who are in it. It's a generalization. Please don't come at me or complain or nitpick about that. I know it's complex. But I guess in preparing to go see this movie, I've gotten kind of nervous because I'm like, this movie, whether it's good or bad, or I agree with it or I disagree with it, is probably going to bring up a lot of those feelings. And in the best case scenario, which I would like to have come true, it'll be very good and articulate a lot of the potential struggles that I think people in this pipeline have. And maybe that makes me worried to talk about it. I don't know. But regardless, I'm going to go see it. We're going to see how it feels, and hopefully it's going to be a great experience.